Hey guys, Shyla Colt here doing my final wrap up of 2017. So as you guys know, I was doing two things. One, I was doing my book advent calendar, which was interesting more than anything because as I was opening the books, I was realizing that some of the books that had attracted my attention for either price or cover, I wasn't really into as I started to read them. So a lot of them really ended up going in the donation pile because my whole goal had really been to tackle what was actually on my physical TBR shelf and clear it out for 2018. And I'm still working on that right now. What also happened as I reached the end of the year was that I was super close to reaching my 200 books read in 2018 goal, but I needed just a couple more books. Okay, more than a couple more books, quite a few books. So I ended up having to break my rule of not going to the library and just allowing myself to get short stories. Now, I have a healthy stack of books. What I'm gonna do is just zoom through the stories that got me to that 200 goal. In Plain Sight by Laura Langston. The Magic of the Unicorn by Nora Lerman Goodman, which was totally a choose your own adventure, and I had a nostalgic good time with it. The Heiress and the Chauffeur by Kiko Ishihara. I actually really didn't care for this one. I thought it would be really cute, but in the end it was super repetitive. Sea to Sea. I love it when the library puts the sticker where the author's name is, so then I have to do this. Sea to Sea by Drew Wing, which was just this little short story black and white sketchbook. Actually had a lot more depth to it and it was really enjoyable. Raven Skull by Christopher Vogler. Another one that looked really good, sounded interesting, but as I got into it, I just wasn't a fan. I definitely won't be continuing with it. Film and TV Locations. So this was just a really fun and quick read with beautiful photography where they hit up some of the spots that we actually know by sight, like places where they filmed Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Harry Potter. It's a quick read, but it was definitely worth picking up because I actually really had a lot of fun just zipping through it. Shallow Grave by Alex Van Toll. A short horror story is basically what it was. It was alright. Wasn't bad. Finally got that book in that I was waiting for from the university, and it is Demons, Devils, and Djinns by Ogle Holt. It was super informative. It basically was just like small pieces of lore from different areas of the world, and it really helped me with my story. I'm excited to put what I learned in this to good use. I did finish the series I was working on, the Canaan Chronicles, with the final book, Crystal Kingdom by Amanda Hocking. I was just really disappointed in this. I really wanted to know how it all ended because I had struggled through the first book, rather enjoyed the second, and this one for me was just a disappointing read. I felt like they dropped the ball. We stretched things out and so much was built up that when the things actually happened, it just fell flat. There was one heck of a plot twist, but it was not enough to make up for the lack of growth that happened with certain characters, the forced romance where it felt really one-sided. You could not feel it from both characters. So this was like a 3-star read for me. I just wasn't a fan. Lies in the Dust by Jacob Crane. If you are into the Salem witch trials, you might actually enjoy this. This was like a quick brief overview of a lot of the victims and how the girl potentially could have responded to what she caused. It was interesting. It was definitely grim and morbid, but I mean, so is that topic. So it goes hand in hand. Grave Secrets by Annette and Gina Cascone. Just picked this up actually from my daughter's area. If you have children or younger people in your family who like creepy but don't want to be scared, these are kind of perfect. They're actually written by two sisters, and it's sort of like a female version of R.L. Stine would be the best way to describe it. I kind of like this one. This one had a really good blend of like adolescent issues, creep factor, and mystery going on. Pretty good pick. The Beast of Baskerville, another book by Annette and Gina Costco. This one I really wasn't a fan of. It had a lot of interaction between the characters that I felt was unnecessary. And I think if it was edited better, the story would be better, the pace would be faster, and things would progress the way that they needed to. But again, if you're looking for those stories that are just spooky enough without scaring the pants off a younger child, this is a really good series to go with. Piper by Jay Asher and Jessica Freeberg. I lucked up on this one that came into the library. It was really good. This was a great retelling. It had a little bit of a twist because it had more depth to it, and it was a 5-star read for me. The Night Wanderer. This was really neat because it spent teen angst also with Native American lore, which I'm already interested in. This was like a 5-star read, and it had some life lessons in it, so good stuff. My Boyfriend is a Monster by Paul D. Story was unlike anything I've ever read. In this, you have Frankenstein still living and creating his own families. So add that with teen angst and you just get this unique blend of a story. I think this is like a 3.5 read for me, so it was enjoyable, but it wasn't the best thing I ever read. The Dreaming. The cover looks interesting. It has a creep factor to it. There was potential for it to be great, but it just fell flat like this book ended, and I still wasn't sure what in the world was happening, and yet I had no interest to continue with it. Frostbite, Vampire Academy graphic novel. If you like this series, you're pretty much going to love this. If you've never read this series, there was a lot that felt very info dumpy at the beginning because there's so much you have to understand before you can actually get into the story. So, I don't know. It was like a 3-star read for me, but if you're a fan of this franchise, I would definitely say pick it up. You'll probably enjoy it. Emma by Jane Austen, the manga. Cute adaptation. I like the art. I felt like they did a really good job of staying true to the book, which can be hard, especially when a book is a classic. But this was like a 4.5-star read for me, so I'd recommend it to fans. The Hound of Baskervilles by Conan Doyle. Of course, this has been edited for a graphic novel, and they did an excellent job of staying true to who the characters were, the book in general, but then also the setting, because the setting in these books really accounts for a lot of the story because of the feel. The moors are such a special place that it lends to this eeriness, and they did a really good job, I think, of capturing that in this book. If you've never read any of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's books, this is actually a great introduction to see if you want to go deeper than that. Ghostly Evidence by Kelly Minor Halls. Great short story that just touches on pretty much everything paranormal. Fun read. Pride and Prejudice, which was an adaptation of Jane Austen's book. I didn't like it. I just felt like it wasn't a great representation of the book. It left out too much, and I know they tried to take some direct dialogue, but it still just left me disenchanted. I definitely suggest you read the book, and I don't think that this is a good introduction to Jane Austen if you've never read her before, because it lacks the magic that she has in her writing. My final read, The Last Dragon by Jane Yolen and Rebecca Gray. First of all, as you can see from the cover, it's beautiful. I really liked the story. It was sort of like this epic bard's tale of a false hero who becomes a real hero. I really enjoyed it. It was a 5-star read for me, and the art was gorgeous all the way through. Highly recommend it. I actually couldn't believe how much I ended up reading on this journey towards 200 reads at the very end. There were a couple of online books that I read that I'm not going to talk about. They were just more than anything really informative short reads, like one that was like how to treat your under eye circles, but it counted because I read the book. Yeah, it was sort of like that. So it was really fun, but it also it also told me that I need to manage my reading better in 2018. So that's one of the goals I have going through. I feel good about how my 2017 ended. I feel good about my reading experiences, which all this week is what I'll be talking about in my other videos, just sort of wrapping up 2017 and looking forward to 2018. So happy 2018 to everyone. How did you do with your reading goals? Were you happy with how much you read? Are you looking to read more or read less this year, or maybe read more with intention? That's something I'm also going to do. I'm going to really focus on what interests me and maybe not get caught so much up in the hype of different books, which can happen, and then you're reading and it maybe wasn't really what you wanted to spend your time on. Thanks for joining me for my 2017 final wrap up of what I was reading, and I will see you tomorrow for the next video. Bye guys.